Hey guys, I've been getting quite a few questions since my last video about Android and various Godot integrations. So I thought I'd figure a lot of it out for you guys and show you how it works because I wasn't sure myself. I haven't done too much Android development in the past and it sounded like fun. So where I started in this video, I'll be showing you how to add Google Play services to your Android projects. We'll go through the Android custom build system and set up our project within Google Play Console and Google Cloud Console. In the next video, we'll add achievements and leaderboards, and following that, sometime in the future, we'll look at AdMob integration as well as in-app purchases. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Okay, so the first step that we're going to need to do is to fix a mistake that I made last video. As I said, this is a learning process for me as well. So last video, when we installed the JDK, we installed JDK 11. Now there's an issue with JDK 11 that some Android tools will not work with JDK 11. So what you will need is to reinstall your JDK with OpenJDK 8. So you download this and then also reinstall Android Studio. So I would come in here, I would uninstall Adopt OpenJDK and uninstall Android Studio and then reinstall it with Java 11. And the same settings the last time for Android Studio. So that should fix your issue. If you run into any issues other than that, let me know. But that's all we need to do. All right, now that you've got your environment set up properly, the next step we're going to do is we're going to go to play.google.com/console. It should come up to /developers, but you can do /developers as well. And you're going to be greeted by some sort of screen. If you don't have a developer account, I imagine it's going to ask you to create one. And I believe at this point, it will ask you for like $25 or something like that. Unfortunately, it's not something you can skip. So give them your money and continue on. Once you've created your developer account, you'll get a page like this and you can go into it by clicking it. I've got a previous version here, but what we're going to do is we're going to create a new application. So our app name, I have it here. I created a new project to set it up. We're going to call it Godot Adventure Time, which is going to be a newer version, I think, of that Android platformer demo from last time. We're going to add Google Play services to it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to set it up as a game and it's going to be free. Once you've published, you can't change it. Okay, so we're not publishing yet anyway, so that's fine. We meet all of the rules and we'll create the application. So once your application is created, all we need to do at this point to set up to get Google Play integration to do our testing is going to be on the left sidebar at the bottom. You're going to see Play Game Services. Hit the configuration button. So you'll get a page that looks like this. Does your game already use Google APIs? So since we're doing a new game, we'll click no. If you're migrating a previous project or something like that, or you're already using Google Map APIs or something like that, you would click yes, but we're creating a new one. So when we hit the create button here, all right, so our game has been created. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take note of this project ID here. You can always come back and get it later though. So when on the screen, what you're going to notice, you're going to see this configure your OAuth consent screen before adding credentials. So when you click this, it's going to tell you that you have to go to Google Cloud Platform to do it. So you can go into your Google Cloud Platform from here, and you will have your project selected. If it's not selected, what you can do is search inside here, search your project in here. Sometimes it won't show up without searching. Click it and click open, and then click this OAuth consent screen on the left side. Now, if you're creating an application that's only for, let's say you're making an internal application to manage your employees and only your HR department's ever going to be allowed to use this application, you'll create an internal application. Your external application is what most people will do, and you also need a special G Suite organization account to use the internals. So click external, hit create. So this will give us this where we'll have to create all the information. So we're going to call this Godot Adventure Time. Support email is, you're going to have emails in this list. If not, I imagine there's going to be a link for you to set it up. For the app logo, I believe that I will just use this. That works. For the application domain, so the web page, we're just going to use our web page. And for here on domains, we're going to also add our domain here. Now, developer email address, we're going to use the same one as before. Oops, that's dumb. Yeah, do it. Gmail.com. All right, and then save and continue. Now we'll say verification required, but whatever, it doesn't matter. You're going to want to add remove scopes. So what I usually use is I usually don't want their email address, because unless you're, you want it for marketing purposes, but I generally don't like to take people's email addresses. So I would go with create your own Google Play Games activity. This is the light version of it, so I would grab it as well. I would never click the personal information button. People will be mad at you. And also, if you're interested in saving application data, I would click that one as well. Hit update on that. And then you can save and continue on that. And this is optional information. And what's this? Prepare for verification. That's fine. You go here. It'll say you can go back to this main OAuth consent screen, look at verification status, and it should say prepare for verification. Now, the next thing we need to do after this is to create a set of credentials for you to access your Play services. So go into credentials. You're going to see it says this needs to be verified, but it's fine. Just create your credentials. Create your credentials. Then add OAuth client ID. Web application type, Android. Name, Godot Adventure Time Debug. And we'll say Android, just in case we want to make it cross-platform and we need to do it. So your package name is important. This is a Java package name. So you can look up how those are generally named, but it'll usually be your domain. So Godot Dragonbones, and then we're going to say Godot Adventure. And then we need your key store fingerprint. So they give you the command you need. So you have this here. So what you're going to want to do is, again, you're going to want to open your terminal, which I showed you how to do last time. And then you should still have your debug key store here. So you're going to want to go key tool, key store, debug.keystore. This will be the full path to your key store. List -v. You're going to enter your key store password, which for the debug, this is the same one we created last time. It's called Android. And you're going to want to take this SHA1 certificate fingerprint here. Copy that with this terminal. Just right click the copy and then paste it in and hit create. There we go. Now it's important when you look here that you remember this Godot Dragonbones Godot Adventure package name. You'll need that in Godot. So with those two things done on the Google Cloud platform, we go back to the Google Play console. This is fun to say, and just refresh the page. So now you'll see that you don't have that OAuth consent form here anymore. What you do see, however, that you need credentials. So hit add credential here. Boom. Then hit games, then hit Android. Godot Adventure Time, debug. And if you want it to be limited only to Google Play, you can use this. I personally don't care in this instance. And you'll select that credential we made in the cloud platform here under OAuth client at the bottom. If you don't see it, hit refresh OAuth clients, or if you do it out of order and you go into the cloud platform and create it, click refresh. With that done, hit save changes. And there we go. So we've got everything we really need set up here. And now we'll go back to this configuration. And now you'll notice that this still says draft. We need to get this specific area published for us to be able to use it. So hit review and publish. You'll see credentials are good, but we need to do a bunch of description stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to click one of these arrows, and we got to fill out all of this information. So our description, we're going to say this is an amazing 2D platformer game created by some awesome folks at the Godot Engine.org workplace created as a demonstration of Google Play integration within Godot. Okay, in game category, I will assume adventure. I'm surprised there's no platformer here, but casual, I don't know. Adventure. Save games. So save games, you can start with it off or you can start with it on, but once it's on, you can't turn it off. So if you don't need it, keep it off. For the game icon, what we're going to do is we're going to create some icons real quick. Okay, so let's create some icons now that I've got Paint open. We've got the game icon. It says it should be 512 by 512. So in Paint, I'm just going to do this. And again, you're going to want to do this properly later, but if you're just trying to get it integrated first and deal with all this meta stuff later, you can do it like this. So let's just say that our icon is going to be a black square with let's say a blue here and Godot. Nope, I want it thicker. Godot adventure get. So that's going to be our logo. So we are going to put this, and we'll just name it logo here, and we'll upload it. Call it here. And now, if you really want to be lazy about it, like I will, we can resize this to the new size. So it's going to be 1024 by 500. So just hit resize, take off maintain, 1024 500. Okay, save that, upload, grab it, and we're done. So if you have Firebase, you can add it here later, and the Google Platform project, it's already connected. That it created that for us, and we were already playing in that. So hit save changes. So we've got all that done. We'll go back to configuration here, go back to review and publish. Now we get ready to publish, hit the publish button, and hit publish game project. And there we go. That's everything we need to do inside Google Play Game Services console. So the next step we're going to get into is setting it all up in your Godot project. Okay, so now that we have everything good to go in our Google Play console, what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to Godot. So what I need to do is get my desktop, go to Godot, and you'll see we've got it didn't change, Godot Adventure Time here. So we'll change a few things inside here, get it all ready, and make it good to go. So the very first thing we need to do is go to the GodotDragonbones.com website, or if you're using the regular Godot engine, you can go here and download export templates. Download, and I believe they're here, this button here, whichever one you want. And yeah, so with that, you will go into Godot here. We're going to hit project, install editor, manage export templates, and you're going to want to uninstall anything you already have, and reinstall the templates here. So the reason we're reinstalling them is because there was missing a file. It was pointed out to me by a user on Discord. I don't remember who it was. I believe it was Kanaz, something like that. Thank you, by the way. So I've added a file to that, and now it will work, and we're able to hit this install Android build template button. So click the button, it will give you a warning saying that blah blah blah, and you got to select the use custom build option when you're using the Android export preset. So hit install, it will export a bunch of stuff. Give it a minute. Gives it a minute. It should be happening any second. There it is. So Android, and you see we now have a plugins folder. So the next step that we're going to do is we're going to create our export template for now. So we want to click add Android. You're going to hit this use custom build. We're going to come back to this page later. And in your unique name, you're going to want to use the package name you selected for your credentials inside here. So here you see I chose Godot, this package name here. Put that inside. Game name, Godot Adventure Time. There we go. And that's all we need to do. Now, if everything has been set up properly, let me do this now. You should be able to plug in your Android device into your computer now. And you might get a warning asking allow debugging on your device. Hit OK, hit yes, give it access, and you're going to see this little Android button appear on your Godot. There you go. I didn't want to build it. Damn it. Anyway, you'll see the Android button show up, and you'll be able to push your projects to Android. So let's just wait for this. Sometimes this will freeze up when trying to deploy Android stuff. Give it a minute, especially the first time. Give it a minute, it'll come back. When it comes back, we'll continue with the tutorial. What do you see? It started working as expected, and it's sending it over to my Android device. I don't remember clicking this button, but apparently I did. So just waiting for that. It says installing to device. On your Android device, there's a couple of settings you'll need to do. You'll need to let me turn that sound off. It just started on the device. So you're going to need to turn on developer mode and also enable install from USB in your Android developer settings. So I might be showing what I had to do on my phone to do that. Anyways, so now that we've got it deploying to Android, we've got everything working fine, and it's running the custom build. The next thing we need to do is add all of the files and set up the Google Play services. Okay, so let's get into adding Google Play services. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to this website here. I'll leave the link in the description. github.com/CGISCA/PGSGP. This is a Godot Play Game Service plugin for Godot. So self-explanatory. It gives you all the instructions you need here. So the code that I'm going to be inserting, you can get the generic versions here. But to get started, what you're going to do is you're going to hit this tags button. You're going to click releases, and you're going to download these two files, the GDAP and the release.aar. And what you're going to do is, as I've done in here, you'll paste them into the new plugins folder that was generated for you when you installed the Android build template thing. So go into Android plugins and paste into here. Now I would suggest opening Visual Studio Code probably is your best bet here to do the next few steps. So the first thing you're going to want to do is in your Android build folder, you're going to want to add a new folder called res for resource, and then inside that folder you're going to want to create another folder called values, and inside here you'll make one file called strings.xml. Now your strings.xml file, it will contain, let's go back to the main page of the repo. It will contain this XML version string here. So you can just paste that in and you'll see there's add your app ID. So earlier I told you to note down this ID here, your project ID. So just copy that and you can add that to within here. So make sure not to add any spaces or anything, and hit save. That's it for that file. One last thing we need to do, we need to go into our Android manifest.xml. And right here where you see these metadata tags, add a couple spaces and go back to, again, the main thing, and you'll see these two metadata tags here. And you can just paste these in as is. Yeah, you can paste these in as is right here, and probably. So what this does, you'll see, just make sure that the spacing is the same on both, that it's going to look for the app ID in string app ID. And if you look in here, that's what we created here. And then here, Android value integer Google Play Services version. I imagine that this is defined somewhere else within this, within the plugin. I'd imagine probably in here when it loads. So just save this file, and that is everything you need to do to install Google Play into your Godot project. So now that all of this has been added, we can now go into the game itself and start adding what we need to actually load Google Play when we start the game. Alright, so now that everything is inside here, we're going to go back into the export templates here, or the export presets, and you'll see inside where it showed custom build, we've now got under plugins Google Play Game Services. Check that box and you can close that. We would need to make sure that's enabled. You'll get that option as soon as you drag those plugin files into the plugins folder. So with that done, we're going to do, we're going to add a new folder, and we're going to call this, let's just call it integrations. And inside here, we're going to create a new script. Oops, new script, Google Play. So we've got a new Google Play script here, which we're going to add to our autoload, so it'll load automatically. So we'll go into project settings, go into autoload, select our integrations Google Play, call it Google Play, hit OK, and we're done. So now let's open that script and get it working. So it's fairly simple. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to want to load Google Play. So load, we're going to sign in actually. So we're going to go init and sign in. That. Actually, we're going to make this two different functions. because sign in is going to be a public function that we can call when we need. So we're going to call this init. Put it like this. And func sign in void pass. Okay. That got rid of the errors. So for initting our service, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a play services equal null, and in our init function we're going to go if engine dot has singleton Godot play games services, make sure to spell that correctly, then play services equal play games services. Let me just, yeah, so sorry, play services equal engine dot get singleton Godot play games services, and then we will initialize the plugin. So we've got we will do play services init and true for show pop-up. That's all I want inside the init function. And then our sign in function, we're going to go if play services, then we will sign in, which is play services dot sign in. So that's all we need to really sign in and initialize the services. But we want one more step, is we want to connect signals. So let's connect our signals, func connect signals. Again, we'll make this void. And we are going to, first let's move private functions to the bottom, public functions at the top, which is something I like doing. So if play services dot connect on sign in success self on sign in success. One too many S's. We'll call this fail, and we'll call this fail, and we'll create these functions. So these functions have a signature like this. So you get func. Let's just copy paste that. So here you have account ID as a string. And we'll do the failure. The failure has error code as an integer. So this will be easy enough. We're going to go, we'll just do a print successful sign in. I don't want to print the account ID because it's going to be mine. And failed to sign in. Failed to sign in with error code. Error code. All right, and that should be everything we need to initialize and sign into Google Play Services. This will be everything that I will be going over today, but let's just show you what it looks like when it's running on the device so you can verify that it's working properly. All right, so hit the button, it will compile, and we should get a welcome to Google Play Services message. So let's just wait a minute and see how it goes. Again, you might see it go into this not responding state. Just wait it out, be patient, and then it'll update itself like this. So it'll sign it and verify the APK. It's gonna open it, and we should be good. So it opens it, and you see it tries to sign into Google Play, and it signs in properly, and we're done. So if you look here, it's not, the debugger didn't attach properly. The console, it's not printing to debug. You can, because you need to deploy with remote debug when you do that as well. If you don't have that and you just want to do it manually, you can do ADB devices, but you can also do ADB logcat-s Godot, I believe. Yes, maybe. So let's close the game out, and let's deploy it with remote debug. It's possible that we need the remote debug to be able to do it. So let's deploy with remote debug. Now that's already compiled. It's much quicker to do. And we should see the successful sign-in message come up. Successful sign-in. Perfect. And again, now you can, if for some reason it doesn't show up here, you should be able to do that same one we had before, and you'll see now we get Godot messages in here. So sometimes when you shut down or redeploy or whatever, your debugger won't connect properly to ADB, to your Godot listener, so you can do ADB logcat to get those messages. So what's the message? In object type Gen AI saying attempt to connect non-existent on sign and fail. So I misspelled that. So you want to do on sign and failed, and that error is going to go away. So as you can see, running on the device, everything's running now. Okay, so it logs in, it goes. We should be able to move. There we go. It's probably that error that I just fixed. Can we kill stuff? No, they don't. I can ride them, but I can't kill them. And we got moving platforms. So there we go. And we have Google Play Game Services. Okay, so with that, you have all the information you need to fully implement Google Play Game Services. So if you want to look up this stuff on your own, before I get to it, you can look at the README at the front page of the plugin, and it explains to you how to connect everything and all the different function signatures. So that's pretty much all I've got for you today. Thanks for sticking around, and as always, I hope this video has been useful to you. Let me know what you'd like me to cover next in the comments below or at my Discord. I'll try to get the next video out sometime before Christmas when everybody gets a little bit of